Well, hello everyone, and you join us here today in a frugal spirit, because we want to help you buy cheap watches by telling you about the cheap watch brands that we have discovered and rate. Tom, you're a man whose wallet is tighter than the backside of a ferret. How do you feel about cheap watch brands?
Yeah, I love them. They're my favourite of all the watch brands, I would say. So we're going to tell you about some of the ones that you probably are well aware of, but worth highlighting. But also we're going to chuck in some ones that maybe you haven't heard of, and maybe I'll surprise you with a couple that I've stumbled upon lately, Andrew.
Oh, I hope to be surprised, for surprise is the spice of life that makes me want to do more of these videos with you, Tom.
Okay, did you read that?
It sounded like it, but no, I didn't. This is my new talking voice. Let's get started. We've got 10 brands, and we got to churn through them.
Okay, so let's start with probably the most budget of all the watch brands. Your friend and mine, Casio, became famous for their digital watches in the 80s, and a lot of those watches are still available, almost unchanged from the day they were released.
And still hugely popular.
Exactly, yeah. You might say they have a retro look, and Casio themselves refers to them as vintage. I say they're timeless.
Oh.
Arguably the most famous of those watches is the F91W, which still costs around £10. What a trooper.
That is to watches exactly what the Cadbury's Cream Egg was not. It stayed the same size, same price, same spec. The Cream Egg got more expensive and it shrank. They need to learn a thing or two from Casio. The world needs to learn a thing or two from Casio.
Yeah, there's no horrible craft interference with Casio.
But still that delicious goo inside.
Right, what was I talking about? That's completely thrown me. In addition to all their digital watches, they also have a nice range of analog quartz. Got your edifices.
Yeah.
And also the mighty G-Shock. This is actually a 2-for-1 budget brand here, because G-Shock is something of its own thing. It's got a cult-like status.
Yeah, the choice of the armed forces, because it's just so damn good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've made this up, but I'm pretty certain people's lives have been saved by carefully placed Casios in the line of fire, like a G-Shock.
Yeah, you could probably imagine two fellas hanging off the mountainside, just, by their G-Shocks.
Each holding one end of the strap.
Exactly, yeah.
Don't let go.
Yeah.
I won't. I paid $100 for that thing.
Exactly, yeah. It's the ultimate cool watch, rugged, durable, indestructible. And I would say it's probably the best answer to the question, what watch should I buy? So we can wrap this up now if you want.
Yeah, we have started with the best watch brand in the world, not just the best budget brand. So the rest of the 9 brands that we are going to share are kind of superfluous, but nevertheless, we're going to carry on because we're those kinds of people. I'm going to give you one, Tom. Timex.
Oh.
Now, here's something a lot of people don't know about Timex. One, it's an American brand, worn by presidents and all kinds of people of note.
Yeah.
But it was also founded in 1854. That's before a whole bunch of brands, including Rolex. So it's been making watches for a long, long time. Do you care to hazard a guess, Tom, as to how many watches Timex has made?
Really?
Yeah, really.
God. Well, 1 million.
It has made, to date, an estimated 100 million watches.
Wow. I thought my 1 million guess was a bit silly, but it was actually really conservative. That's greatly surprising. God, they've been churning them out then for the last 150 years.
They have. Where are the other watch brands are all like, we're about rarity and quality. Timex are like, no, make watches for everyone. Watches for you, watches for you. Look under your seat. There's a watch. They are the Oprah of the watch game. They are there for everyone. And I have chosen, could have gone for the obvious Timex, the Q Timex, but I've chosen the Expedition Northfield Post, Tom, as a watch to highlight their brand. This thing is £209. It comes with a mechanical movement of unspecified origin. Stainless steel, 38mm, sapphire crystal, 100 meters of water resistance. You can't say much fairer than that. Surely.
No, yeah. That's disgusting value. In a good way. From one prolific watch Goliath to another, let's talk about Seiko. They're just as prolific as Timex, I dare to put a number on the amount of watches they've produced over the years. They're very old, been making watches since the late 1800s. You know, that was when Downton was knocking about. So they've got this watchmaking business down. You know, they've been establishing factories since then. They produce almost everything in-house, and consequently, you know, their timepieces are robust and sturdy and give good, reliable performance. You've got the Go Anywhere, Do Anything Prospex range for your sports lovers. You've got traditional elegance of the Presage range, and then you've got the casual street style of the Seiko 5 Sports range, of which I am a proud owner. The Seiko 5 Sports is £230, and it's the only watch you could ever need. It's chunky, it's got a fun, satisfying, clicky bezel. The lume on it is amazing. Turn off the light and I'll go, God, that's bright.
It's there just like...
Exactly, yeah. And it's mechanical for £230. It's again, disgusting value in a good way.
And you know they're good when pretty much every other value brand seeks their movements from Seiko, be they quartz or mechanical. I love Seiko. Seiko are also the best brand in the world, alongside Casio, and I would love to see Casio and Seiko either fight it out or come together to make something truly special. Tom, I'm going to counter your well-known Seiko with slightly less well-known, but altogether just as important, Citizen. Citizen, not as old as Seiko, still founded around 1918. But did you know that the Citizen Group owns not only Citizen, but Bulova, Arnold & Son, Frederic Constant, and the movement manufacturer, the high-end Swiss movement manufacturer, La Joux-Perret.
Oh, wow. I did know some of that, but I may have forgotten it, so that's news to me.
Well, now you know all of it.
Again.
So consider that a win. They also do. They compete with Grand Seiko with their higher-end collection. Specifically with a piece called The Citizen.
Oh, wow, yeah, I love it.
But nevertheless, like Seiko, they have this big company doing value really well. And they've taken a slightly different stance for their affordable products. This watch is very eloquently known as men's strap.
Catchy.
But it packs in all the things that you love about a watch. It's a decent size at 42mm. It is stainless steel, lovely analog dial. But it also has the Citizen Eco Drive, which is a big favourite of mine. It scoops up all that lovely sun and turns it into moving hands. You don't need to wind it, you don't need to put a battery in it, it just does its thing, which I think is, to this day, even in a day and age where mobile phones and satellites and space, I still think the solar-powered watch is fascinating.
Yeah, it's a great watch. Simple and clean all the way across the board, from, you know, the dial to the movement. Yeah, I like it. It's hard to complain about for £150.
Oh yeah, and it's £150. I forgot about that. Tom, what's next?
Right, so we've had two Japanese juggernauts. Let's take it back to the homeland. Swiss watchmaking since 1853, yo.
Boy!
Talking about Tissot. Started as a small watchmaking family business in the Swiss mountains there, as they all do. One of the first brands to make wristwatches. But since then, it's now become a juggernaut, being the traditional Swiss watch brand that sells the most watches. How about that?
Wow.
That's their words. I haven't verified it. I don't know how. But
that's a lot of counting.
I'm going to accept it. But if you think they've lost their focus on quality since then, Andrew, then you're having a laugh, aren't you? Because they still make excellent timepieces, they still innovate, and they still produce some really, really nice, clean, elegant watches that are affordable. Their watches start at around £200, and they've got a hell of a lot of choice. But if you spend £100 more, for £300, you could get your hands on the Tissot PRX. That's a steel sports stunner and the people's champion of 70s inspired watches with an integrated bracelet. But you would not feel bad about choosing a Tissot PRX. It is a stunning watch, and it's been doing gangbusters lately, hasn't it? Everyone's loves that watch, and for good reason. It's really cool.
Absolutely. Aside from the very bizarre advert I saw on YouTube for their PRX recently, the brand is doing phenomenal things. They really understand what it is to get to the heart of the budding enthusiast by making good quality watches at reasonable prices, without losing sight of the whole Swiss is best.
Swiss is best.
Yes.
As they say in New Zealand.
But from Switzerland to the other side. From Switzerland to the other side of the world, Singapore, I bring you the first of our brands that you may not have heard of.
Huh.
We've heard of all the others, Tom. God, you talk about them all the time and I'm sick of it.
Yeah, boring.
I'm going to lay down some brands that people are going to be like, what?
Finally.
This is Zelos. Founded in 2014 by Elshun Tang. He is a watch enthusiast who was like, I think I'm nearby a place that can make watches a bit cheaper, but I'm an enthusiast and I can make sure that before they go to the customer, they are of good quality.
I like his thinking.
Best of both worlds, right?
He looks very young. Is he some kind of wunderkind?
I'll say, because he has made a tourbillon watch, a good one, for less than £10,000.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. And it's not just one of those like, oh yeah, it's a tourbillon in name only, but the rest of it kind of looks like a heap of bad parts assembled in the shape of a watch. His one was really good. But we're here for the most value of value watches. And for that, you're going to be looking to be spending around £375 for the Swordfish Diver. Now, you might be thinking, oh, right, another dive watch. But the Swordfish Diver comes in a number of different styles. And actually, I think, really stands out. There are a few really good details with this watch. The one I've picked specifically is the launch colour. You've got a smoky kind of sand-coloured dial with a texture. You've got sandwich markers which sit just behind a brushed titanium bezel within the stainless steel case. It just gives me just some vibes of something different, something a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Powered by a Seiko NH35, as we were talking about earlier. Great movement, very reliable. Sapphire crystal, 200 meters of water resistance. And this gives you the idea of that kind of enthusiast level of attention to detail. The colour of the date wheel matches the dial. Oh.
Nice. I love it. It looks really chunky and I love all the beveled edges. It looks really considered. It's a very pleasing aesthetic. Yeah, nice. And how much is that?
That is £375.
Ooh, pretty cool.
Do you reckon you can beat that, Tom?
Well, I will have a go because I present to you Shinola, which is an American watch brand. And these watches are built in Detroit, which is, I love that straight away. That just conjures up images of that Detroit steel, you know?
Yeah, Detroit was the home of the American car making industry.
Yes. Shinola still sort of levies on that kind of spirit. They have a vintage military aesthetic running through their watches. The Rumwell Field Watch, for example, celebrates that spirit and drive and grit of Detroit manufacturers during World War II, where they cranked out nearly all of America's vehicles for war. So,
wow.
And it's just a really cool, simple watch. You've just got like that nice plain circular case and those wire lugs, and it's just got a really, really nice pleasing dial with these nice raised lume markers. I really like them. And look at the duck, Andrew.
That is an orange watch.
Yeah. It's nearly £700, but it's just so cool.
Looks like the kind of watch made for the man who likes to get his hands dirty on a bit of American muscle. I mean cars, specifically.
Water resistant surf rated watch, stainless steel case with a screw down crown, unidirectional bezel, and extra thick sapphire crystal with superluminova markers and neon orange as well. Awesome. Get your flippers on the duck today. That's them saying that as well. That's not me.
I've got another brand for you, Tom.
Ooh.
A real hotshot brand of value watches. It's a little at the higher end, but when you see them, you'll appreciate why. This is Helios. You might have heard of their Seaforth, which is an absolute smash hit, and every time they release a new batch of them, they are gone before they even touch the ground.
Yeah.
The really big show-stopping part of the Helios brand is just how good the quality is. It's hard to separate the watches they make from watches that have 2-3 times the price. I've chosen the Universa, which is a little bit cheaper than the Seaforth. It is currently out of stock, but they're expecting more at the end of this year. But you just take a look at it. It looks very, very classy at 38mm, 100 meters of water resistance. It is in stainless steel with a Sellita SW210 hand-winding movement. It's kind of aping the Rolex Explorer, but I think this is more akin to the original Explorer than the current Explorer is now. At £650, the fit and finish is second to none, really, and it's just testament to why they are so very popular.
It looks really nice. I really love the arrowhead on the second hand there.
Some people might say that the £650 for the Universe is a little bit too much and that you can get the similar spec for less, but it really does bear holding in your hands and experiencing for yourself to see where that extra bit of cash has gone in the quality of it. Tom, what have you got for me next?
Right, let's go back to Singapore, because there's some very exciting things happening over there, as we've already learned with the Zelos. And I'm going to talk to you about Boldr, Boldr. So let me just start by telling you some of the names of some of their models that they make, and you can try and figure what kind of a watch brand they are. So you've got the Venture, the Expedition, the Odyssey. As you may guess, Boldr is an outdoor watch outfitter for adventurous types. Their watches are super tough, stylish, functional, and built to be used and abused every day. So one of my favourites is the Venture Rally Wells 008. Look at that case shape. It's just really nice.
That's nice. That is very nice.
The top and bottom just seems like they've just been like laser etched off. It just finishes. It looks like some sort of loop cut. Just got this really nice, just flat edge. It's just really pleasing. £260 for a 38mm titanium case. Inside you've got the Japanese VK64 Seiko Mecha Quartz again, water resistant to 200 meters, screw down crown, super loom, nylon NATO strap. I mean, the specs hard to beat for that price, really. Again, disgusting value in a good way.
I love the way this thing looks. The contrasty dial, the orange accents, that case shape, as you've described. It's doing everything right for me in the visual department. Titanium too, so you're going to get that really rugged, bead-blasted, outdoorsy feel for adventurers.
Yeah, great to get your hands on some titanium for that price. That's great.
This is a good find, Tom. I'm liking it. Let me throw in one last brand before we wrap up today. Okay. This is one we've spoken about before. This is Gekkota. I believe Gekkota was originally founded making straps over on the Watch Gecko site.
The Gecko connection.
But they weren't satisfied with just making affordable straps. They wanted to provide affordable watches too, and the one I've picked for you today, don't judge it just yet, is the Gekkota Sea Hunter Surfers Against Sewage.
Nice. I love it when watch brands get the word sewage in their watch titles.
Yeah.
But actually, I mean, that is electrifying watch to look at, isn't it?
I think this is your value Grand Seiko. If you want that textured dial inspired by nature, but you don't have the thousands upon thousands to go for the big boy daddy Grand Seiko, you can get yourself a Gekkota Sea Hunter Surfers Against Sewage. And not only will you be siding with the surfers and against the sewage, but you'll also own a dive watch that has a beautifully textured and coloured dial. I think this is a real eye-popping choice. VH31 quartz movement in there, sapphire crystal, 200 meters water resistance, 40mm steel case, less than £200.
That's great.
I think that's fantastic value. I really do.
Amazing. That is really cool. That's an exciting proposition. Yeah, I love the neon colours. You've got that bright blue and that bright yellow on the NATO strap. And it looks really fun. And the proceeds go to charity. You'll be stopping sewage and protecting the rainforest as well when you buy this watch. So that's great.
The downside is that you do have to associate with smelly unwashed surfers. But, you know, sometimes you have to make a sacrifice with your purchases, especially at the value end.
Hey, you should be stoked to associate with surfers.
I am truly stoked.
Good.
The last thing I'd like to add about this particular watch and this particular brand is often when you get to the value end, it feels a little bit like you're fighting for specs rather than for eye-catching good looks. And I think this gives you both. And it's really nice to see that consideration.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there you have it, dear viewer and listener. If you think there are any other brands worth mentioning in future videos like this, pop them down in the comments below. We want to furnish you all with the knowledge about the cheapest and best brands out there, because we all got to start somewhere. Thank you so much for listening. Please do like, comment and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Cheers, bye.